Okay, so you need to pull out this section 1.6 I gave to you in class and just take notes while we're talking together right now. And then I'll collect these on Friday so that we don't get behind my other sections. So we'll be on target for taking our test on Wednesday. So the basis for this section is talking about a young woman named Jenna who is going to go on a business trip. And so her company told her, you can either take your car, which is a 2006 Toyota 4Runner, or you can rent a car, but we're only going to give you whichever is cheapest, which is pretty typical. So let's look or think about what would be required for calculations if you wanted to take your own car. So I've filled out forms for SUNY when I've had to go on professional development trips. And the one question that I have to fill in on the form is how many miles was the trip? So I have to hit my odometer and clock how far that I had to drive. So let's say how many miles traveled. So that's one thing that a company is going to know is how many miles did you put on your car. Maybe another thing that we would need to know is the cost of gas. So if we can figure out how much gas costs per gallon, then I'll know how much I should write down to be reimbursed for gas. Another thing that is good to know is what's called the mileage of your car, and that's how many miles your car gets per gallon. So each time you use a gallon of gas up, how many miles have you traveled? And the other thing that will be asked on forms is just the general costs that go into maintenance on your car. Right, imagine if we were driving to California and back, which would be a really far business trip. You'd have to get your oil changed, and there's a lot of wear and tear on the tires. So those are things that are factored when you take your car on a business trip or for professional development. Those are kinds of things that are looked at when you fill out a form to get reimbursed. Now, when you rent a car, it's pretty straightforward, right? You pay for the rental. Usually there's a big chunk of tax that goes with that. And then you just have to pay for your gas. Oftentimes there's two options when you rent a car. You can rent it by the day with unlimited miles, or if you have a really short drive, you could just rent it and pay at a cheaper rate and pay per mile. But Jenna's going to travel pretty far. So she would just pay to rent the car with unlimited miles, and then she'll just have to pay for the gas that she uses. You always want to leave your tank full when you return it to the rental shop. So let's look at some of the basics for her car versus a rental. It says she needs to drive 193 miles from home, and then she's going to return. So to figure out the number of miles, we're going to multiply 193 by 2. And I'm going to use my phone calculator because it's nice and big. You can see the results. So 193 times 2, it looks like she's going to be traveling 386 miles. Round trip. It doesn't matter whether she rents a car or uses her own car. The miles are the same. And it says in this problem that the gallon of gas costs about $3.50. All right, so let's look. I don't want to estimate. Let's just go for it. Let's figure out the cost for the trip for each vehicle. And it says show your strategy or method. So we'll do it two different ways. So let's do her 4Runner. And then let's do it for the rental, which looks like it's a Hyundai Elantra. So it says in the problem that her 4Runner gets 22 miles per gallon of gas. Now there's two ways you can go about doing this. So if she's going to travel 386 miles, and for every 22 miles she uses a gallon of gas, we want to figure out how many chunks of 22 we can get out of here. So if I divide this by 22, this is going to tell me the number of gallons of gas I'm going to use. So we have 386. I'm going to divide this by 22. And so she's going to use about 17. I'll just go 5, 4. I'll go 5, 5. I'll just go pretty far out. So rounding isn't a big issue. Gallons of gas. So between 17 and 18 gallons. So if I know this is the number of gallons she's going to use, I'm going to take this number and multiply by the price of a gallon of gas. I'm going to show you a different way to do this as well. Get my phone pulled up. So 17.5455 times $3.50 looks like she's going to be paying $61.41 for gas. Right? It's money. We always round money to 2 decimals. They're not going to tell us that. We just have to know. Now, let me show you another way you could have done that. It says you can use any strategy or method you want. Now, if you'd rather use the conversion factors, like we've been doing in class, you can do that as well, but it's not necessary. Like if you wrote this down, I could see exactly your strategy, but there's another way that you can do it as well. I'm going to show it to you right now. So let's say we want to find out money, right? And all I know is that for $3.50 is what I'm going to be paying per each gallon of gas that I use. There's a fraction, there's a ratio. It's a rate. And I want to get rid of gallons, right? But look, we have something with gallons. I'm going to sneak it over here. I have 22 miles per 1 gallon of gas. Or, remember, it's a conversion fraction, so I can also flip those and have them be, it's the exact same thing. Or 1 gallon per 22 miles. So if I want to get rid of gallons, I can write gallons on the top and 22 miles on the bottom. Now I'm left with money per mile, but I want to get rid of miles, but that's okay. I know how many miles I'm traveling. See, we're just going to play with this until we can get rid of all these unit fractions. So in my calculator, I'd put 350 on the top times 386 also on the top and divide it by 22. And that's where you'd get the $61.41. You don't have to do it this way. I was just showing this to you as an option. If you like those unit fractions, you know you want to end up with money, so you've got to get rid of gallons. So you're just going to use all those different rates to end up with just money, and all those other units will cancel. All right, let's try the rental car. So we'll try it the same way. She's going to go 386 miles. For the rental car, she's getting 40 miles per gallon. So that means every time she drives 40 miles, she has to buy a gallon of gas. So how many 40s can we get out of there? So let's divide this by 40, and that's going to tell us the number of gallons of gas that we would have to buy. Okay, so we have 386 miles, and every 40 miles, try that again, 386, for every 40 miles she goes, she's going to need a gallon of gas. So it looks like this is how many gallons of gas she's going to need. And then for each gallon, she's going to be paying $3.50. We round money to 2 decimal places. So to rent a car, she's going to be paying $33.78 in gas. Okay. All right. So now let's figure out how much she's going to spend if she rents a car versus how much she's going to spend if she drives her own. So this is all the information she needs to fill out her form to be reimbursed for the rental car. We already know the price of gas. We know she's traveling 193 miles, but we have to multiply that by 2. That's going to give us 386 miles total. The Elantra gets her 40 miles per gallon. And then this is how much they're going to charge us to rent it for that day. So it says you're going to pay $98.98 plus tax. So let's go ahead and figure out what the tax would be. So they said the tax is 15.3% of the rental. Of means multiply. So we're going to pay 15.3% times the $98.98. And that's going to be the amount of money that we're going to pay in taxes. So let's try it. So I have 15.3% times $98.98. So in tax, we're paying $15.14. So that's going to be the amount that we're going to pay to rent the car. Plus, we're going to have to write down the gas too. So we have the $98.98 plus the tax, which is $15.14. So to rent the car is $114.12 plus gas. So let's write down what we have to pay for gas to rent the car. $33.12 plus $33.78. So it looks like to rent the car, we're going to be paying about $147.90. Okay, I got the gas money from right here, right? Where we knew we were going to use 9.65 gallons of gas times 350. So this is where we got the gas for the rental. And that's what I'm going to tack on to the rental plus the taxes plus the gas. So to rent a car for her business trip, that's how much it's going to cost her. Now, if it's less to drive her car, then they're going to pay her to drive her car. Okay, the company doesn't want to pay her. Most companies want to pay the cheapest amount possible. So let's go ahead and try to figure this out. So we already know the price of gas, and we know the length of the trip, and we know her miles per gallon. And I'm going to just cross insurance, registration, and taxes because companies don't pay for that. The money that goes into driving your own car is the gas, the mileage, and the distance. But there's one other thing, and it's what's called general maintenance. So on forms, you can submit like the wear and tear on your car for however far you've driven it. Now, for example, like if I have to drive all the way out to California and back, for every 3,000 miles, I should get reimbursed $40 for an oil change. I should get reimbursed for putting all the wear and tear on those tires. And I should get reimbursed for what's just called general wear and tear. So we have three other concerns that I'm allowed to fill out, or that Jenna's allowed to fill out to get reimbursed. One is called general maintenance. So we're going to figure out how much money she's going to get back in maintenance. We're going to figure out how much she's going to get back in tires for her wear and tear on her tires. And we're going to figure out how much she should get back for general repairs. All right, now I want you to think about this. If I go 3,000 miles, they should give me $40 back. What happens if I go 50% of those miles? So 1,500. Then they should give me 50% back of the $40. So they should give me $20 back. So what I need to do is figure out what percent of the 3,000 miles I'm traveling. So we're driving 386 miles out of the 3,000 miles towards an oil change. What percent of the 3,000 miles am I driving? Okay, let's see what that is. So I'm going 386 miles out of the 3,000 I would get for an oil change. Since it's a percent, we multiply it by 100. So I'll say it's 12.87%. So that means I should get 12.87% of the $40. If I went 3,000 miles, I should get 100% of that 40. If I went half of that, I should get half of that. If I've traveled 12.87% of this, that's what percent I should get of the $40. So what is 12.87% of means multiply, $40? It's not going to be much, but if I'm going to get reimbursed for it, I'm going to fill out the paperwork. So 12.87% times 40. Looks like they will give Jenna back $5.15. Remember, we round to 2 for general maintenance. Just for filling in that column. So we're going to do tires the same way. If we go 50,000 miles, they're going to give us $920. If I go 25,000 miles, they'll give me half of that. Right? If I go 50% of this, they'll give me 50% of that. So let's figure out what percent I've gone of the 50,000. It's not that much, but it's still a little bit. Part over total times 100. Let's figure out what percent I'm getting. Okay, you ready? So 386 divided by 50,000 times 100. It looks like I've traveled 0.772% of the 50,000. So that means I should get 0.772% of the $920 back. So 0.772% times $920. I will take it. They're going to give me $7.10 back, just towards the replacement of my tires. Look, now we're up to $12. I'll take $12. So let's do repairs. So if you can look this up for your car and how much on average it takes you to fix it for every 15,000 miles you drive. So same thing. Let's figure out what percent of the 15,000 miles we've gone. So percent is part over total times 100. Okay. Part over total times 100. So I've gone 2.573% of the 15,000 miles. So it means I should get 2.573% of the $328. Okay, let's see what we get. So 2.573% of 300 and, not 328. Yep, $328. There it is. That's not a decimal, that's a times. Looks like I should get $8.44 back. Okay, so now let's add all this up. So they're going to reimburse me for gas, which was $61.41 for my car, plus the maintenance fee, plus the tire fee, plus this $8.44. So how much will Jenna get reimbursed if she drives her own car? Well, she's going to get the $61.41 back for gas, plus $5.15, plus $7.10, plus $8.44. So she'll get back $82.10 if she fills out the paperwork. She'll end up getting reimbursed $82.10. So this is not going to pay for her to rent a car because it's more money, but it's better for her to submit all of these other little costs because she's going to get like an extra $20 back, over $20, just by filling in the chart. Okay, that's it for section 1.6. The Lumen Ohm is open for 1.6. And you're going to hand in your oh wow along with this paper, this note's being taken on Friday. And you're going to start working on that review. I'll post the key to the review on Friday. We will finish we have one section left. We're going to do that on Friday. And then Monday, we'll go over some questions on the review that you may have some questions on. We'll wrap up section 1.9. We're going to start a little bit of a review for simplifying expressions. And then we'll take our first test on Wednesday on Module 1. All right, so I'll see everyone on Friday. Thanks for being patient and for taking some notes, and bring in some questions if you have any on Friday. All right, take care, everyone.